So as most of us would know if you're an NBA fan, the NBA season did begin last night on Tuesday, October 18th now. A doubleheader. Both games were pretty exciting. Neither of them ended up being too close. I mean, it wasn't like blowouts in either game, but you kind of felt like both teams that won had the advantage the entire way. The Boston Celtics took down the 76ers 126 to 117, and I'm not really here to talk about that. I think that game has a lot that you can unpack, but I would rather focus on this Lakers-Warriors game just because it has a lot of, impact on the rest of the season for the Lakers fans and for the Lakers organization. Now, I'm not a person that, they lose one game and I'm like, oh, the season's over. But there are a lot of things that you can unpack about this game. First off, the Lakers gave the Warriors way too many turnover opportunities. They had 21 turnovers, only 3 more than the Warriors, but allowed 27 points off of their turnovers. Just a very, very high margin compared to 17 off of their turnovers if you're a Warriors fan. So the Lakers have to limit the turnovers. I know that's something that they've always, people always pick on Westbrook about, but he really didn't have a terrible game. LeBron had 5 turnovers himself. AD had about 3 turnovers. Westbrook did have 4, but a solid all-around game for Westbrook. He ended up having a decent showing, 19 points, 4 turnovers. Like I said, he had the 1 steal, 3 assists, 11 rebounds, 10 of which were defensive, but he did get 1 nice offensive rebound. So he shot okay, 58% from the field, 33% from 3. He shot 1 of 3 from there and 80% from the line. So Westbrook, kind of nursing a sore hamstring. He played well. He played decent, and I do hate to see people, continue to blame him on this or blame this loss or losses in general on him when he puts up decent games like this. Obviously, there's moments where he has bad games. There's going to be times any star player has bad games. He's going to have multiple turnover games, more than 4, and that's just how it is in the NBA when you live. When you're a starting point guard, you're an all-star player or at least a former all-star player. But yeah, Lonnie Walker, another guy that I was a little disappointed in if I'm a Lakers fan. Only 5 points. He shot 2 of 7, 0 for 3 from three-point land, and only made 1 of 2 of his free throws. So, he's one of those guys that you expected to come in and be that spark plug. He was supposed to be part of that new electrifying offense that the Lakers were trying to get going, and they really didn't get much outside of their top few guys. I mean, Kendrick Nunn had a solid game, 13 points. He had a couple assists, a couple rebounds, and he shot decent, 55% from the field and 50% from 3. Max Christie got a shot up. There's just Cole Swider missed a shot. Wenyen Gabriel played a few minutes. Matt Ryan, the former Falcons, current Colts quarterback, has been doing so bad in the NFL. He got a few minutes out there. Juan Toscano Anderson missed all 3 of his shots. All 3 were 3-point attempts, and Austin Reeves went 1 of 3 from the field goal or from the field. Overall, the Lakers, not a good game or not a good start to the season for them. 109. I believe the final score was, let's see if I can remember it correctly, 123 to 109, so I was right on that part. They ended up shooting 10 of 40 from three-point land, which you're just not going to win a game shooting 25% from 3, especially if you're shooting them at such a high volume as you have to in the current NBA. So that's a big letdown if you're a Lakers fan. And there is one thing that I do have to say is probably a little heartwarming to see if you're a Lakers fan, although Anthony Davis's plus-minus while he was in the game was 21 or minus 21. Same with LeBron, who was minus 10. The only positive plus-minuses were the guys down on the bench. Kendrick Nunn had a minus 19, LeBron minus 10. Lonnie Walker minus 13. Beverly, Westbrook, and Reeves all had a minus 5 or 6. So just an all-around bad performance. Their only lead was at the beginning of the game. They led by 2. And overall, just not a good performance. And my outtake of this game is the only way the Lakers are going to have a dominant playoff run. Obviously, we want to say Anthony Davis needs to stay healthy, but not only does he need to stay healthy, he needs to be an MVP candidate. We saw at the beginning of this game, time after time, they went into the paint. They really forced it into Anthony Davis's hands. They got him mismatches. They gave him the ball, and they let him work with it. And it actually ended up being a pretty decent game for him. Anthony Davis finished with 27 points. He had a block. He only had 3 turnovers. He had 4 steals, which is amazing for him. He had a couple of those steals right around the half-court marker. He had a couple assists. He had 6 rebounds. Or Anthony Davis had no assists, but he had 6 rebounds. Kind of disappointing if you're a big man, but overall still a decent showing. 7 of 9 from the free throw line. I believe he ended up shooting, 10 for 22 from the field. But my main concern, 0 for 3 from three-point land. Yes, you want to take them. You've got to make them respect it. But I would much rather, similar to Giannis, I would much rather spend those possessions getting into the paint and getting Anthony Davis a mismatch. You've got to get him in there, and you've got to get him able to make his moves. You know, his paint game is way too strong and way too valuable to this Lakers roster in order for them to have him out on the three-point line taking jump shots. It's similar to Joel Embiid, but Joel Embiid is just slightly better, in my opinion, at shooting three-pointers. But I would still rather both of those guys being in the paint 24/7, just ready to post up, ready to make a nice spin move off of their man and, get into the paint and get a bucket. But unfortunately for the Lakers, obviously, as I said, they came out on the bottom part of this game. Steph Curry necessarily didn't have a great start to the season. Now, don't get me wrong. He finished off pretty well. He finished off with 33 points. He had 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 4 steals, and a block, which was pretty nice for him defensively. Only 4 turnovers as well, which is surprising for a guy that handles the ball as much as Steph Curry does. He did have a rough start, as I said, though. He missed about his first 5 three-pointers, I believe, so that's a tough way to begin the season, but it really didn't take him much time or much longer to get into the groove of things. Andrew Wiggins as well, 20 points. He had 5 fouls, so he was close to getting out of there, but he had 1 steal, 1 block, 4 assists, 6 rebounds, stacking up the stat sheet. Draymond Green, 4 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, no steals or blocks or anything, which is a little surprising for him, but overall, I do think this was a decent start to the season for the Warriors. I mean, they were more talented than the Lakers roster. The Lakers kept it close for a little bit there, but as we all know, that third quarter is where they usually tend to take it away, and that's just what happened last night. I mean, if you look at the third quarter, it's pretty even through the first few quarters. Lakers scored 22 in the first, they scored 30 in the second. Warriors scored 25 in the first, 34 in the second, so they had a slight lead. And then you get into that third quarter, they scored 32 points compared to 19 from the Lakers. So just a big, difference there as far as, getting that third quarter run going if you're a Lakers fan. But they did have a nice fourth quarter. They had a nice finish to the game. Unfortunately for them, they were in too deep of a hole really to get back into it. But I was loving this game. I watched most of it. I had to get off of work a little later, so I wasn't able to catch the whole thing. But I did enjoy watching this game. Let me know what you guys thought about this one. It was an interesting way to start the season. Like I said, my biggest takeaway is if the Lakers want to have the season they expect to have, Anthony Davis has to be, and I mean has to be, an MVP caliber player in order for them to do that. I'm not saying they're a bad team without that, but if they want to get, a top 3 seed, if they want to fight for that, AD needs to stay healthy and he needs to play at his highest level. If you agree with that, hit the like button and please subscribe. It helps me out so much. Once again, thanks for 300 subscribers just a few days ago. Turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. See you guys next time. Peace.